A high-speed chase, a brutal beatdown, an arrest that shocked an entire Georgia community. All because a man dared to say one word to a deputy, that he is a scumbag. GT's going hot. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, to include smash that notification bell right quick, fast, and in a hurry. To see this entire story, head over to channel Mr. Pipsqueak and let him know GT sent you. On June 29th, 2024, in a blazing summer afternoon in Stevens County, Georgia, in a moment that would ignite one of the most disturbing law enforcement scandals the region has ever seen. What happened was nothing short of shocking. A violent, retaliatory attack on David Freeman, an area pastor and outspoken political advocate, after he simply expressed that he didn't like the police. Inside a Home Depot, Freeman exercised his First Amendment right to free speech, telling deputies that he didn't want to be around law enforcement. But Deputy Dondi Nelson of the Stephenson County Sheriff's Office took offense and had another idea. And instead of walking away, he followed Freeman all the way to his vehicle. Moments later, Nelson claimed that Freeman tried to run him over. But the vehicle evidence tells a very different story, showing no indication that such an attempt ever occurred. That false allegations triggered a multi-agency pursuit, escalating into a dangerous chase, a brutal takedown, and a violent arrest. All while Freeman's 11-year-old child sat terrified in the vehicle. To make matters worse, the 11-year-old was also cuffed and appeared to be taken into custody as well.
On June 29th, 2024, a cop named Donnie Nelson heard this guy making a political comment in the Home Depot and followed him to his truck, which itself is pretty messed up. According to his personnel file, Nelson immigrated to the U.S. from Trinidad and Tobago. He's only lived in Toccoa for the past few years. Back in 2021, Nelson was working as a jailer in Stevens County but quit, and Sheriff Randy Shirley marked his personnel file not eligible for rehire. We don't know why he did, but this suggests that Nelson shouldn't have been working in law enforcement by the time of Home Depot. Despite this, Shirley rehired Nelson as a patrol deputy in November 2021. In his less than 3 years of experience on patrol, Nelson was a repeated disciplinary problem. Nelson was so aggressive on the job that even the fire department chief emailed the sheriff to complain of multiple instances of Nelson's hostile attitude toward firefighters. He wrote, "We cannot volunteer our time for this county and be verbally abused any further by this deputy." Nelson's police report claims he went to the Home Depot to use the bathroom. Video shows he was shopping on the job. Police told the newspapers that the guy threatened and cussed him in the Home Depot. Home Depot workers say,
"I did not hear profanity.
No threats, though?
Not that I'm aware of it."
His body camera was apparently also off, so we'll never know exactly what was said in the Home Depot. Here's another Home Depot employee who affirms Freeman didn't cuss or threaten the deputy.
I didn't hear any threat. I don't remember any cussing.
The judge has already ruled that the guy had a right to free speech and can't be charged with anything he said. Nelson claimed that the manager of the Home Depot asked him to give the guy a criminal trespass warning. Home Depot's employees say,
Do you know why Officer Nelson left the store and followed Freeman to the parking lot?
I do not know.
Justin Freeman is a father, church elder, private educator, and native of Habersham County. So the cop follows this guy out to the parking lot and the guy backs up his truck to leave. Nelson claimed,
"Yeah, he backed that red truck up like he about to hit me."
Video shows clearly he didn't. You can see in security video the guy comes nowhere near hitting the cop. The cop is at least 15 feet away and not in the line of truck's travel. In fact, you can see it from 2 angles. Despite that, the cop pulled the guy over and arrested him. Then the police told the news that this guy backed up aggressively and almost hit the deputy. They charged him with assault, claiming that he did commit an act which placed Donnie Nelson in reasonable apprehension of immediately receiving a violent injury by reversing his vehicle quickly in the direction of Donnie Nelson, which his lawyers speak for, trying to back over a cop. The cop made that accusation in June. Then in October, he made it in sworn testimony that the guy hadn't even come close to hitting him, saying the closest approach of the truck was maybe about 5 feet. He also said the backup wasn't a crime. The lawyer asked, "As far as the backing up, did you swear out a warrant for that conduct?" He answered, "No, sir, I don't have probable cause at that time." So basically, this guy made a political statement and the cop arrested him. And now, more than 9 months later, the prosecutors are still falsely accusing the guy of trying to run over the cop, even though there's proof he didn't do it. So since that time, the cop has claimed that he had to pull the guy over for running a stop sign. But there's a problem. There's no evidence he ran the stop sign. Later, Freeman demanded,
"What crime did I commit that initiated the stop? Name it. Name the crime." "You can't, because you know there isn't one." You can't name the crime because you know there isn't one.
And when Nelson described the chase to his buddies, he said nothing about the stop sign.
He backed that red truck up like he about to hit me. So I friggin' pull off, turn my blue lights on, he wouldn't friggin' stop.
Here's another one of Nelson failing to explain why he pulled Freeman over.
What you got, Donnie? What's the stop for, Donnie? Okay.
More importantly, there's no possible way that Nelson could have seen the stop sign at Memorial Drive. These videos and computer models show that Nelson was far off when the guy reached the stop sign, and thick trees make it impossible to see. So there's no evidence that Freeman committed any traffic violations prior to Nelson turning his blue lights on, and Nelson didn't start making the claim until much later. The high-speed chase to Walmart story doesn't even make sense because Toccoa's Walmart is right next to the highway. Why pass the highway to go to a parking lot?
We are trying to go to a safe place where people can at least see what's happening.
Don't police advise you that if you don't feel safe being pulled over, drive slowly to a public place with lots of witnesses? Well, in Stevens County, Georgia, that will get you charged with felony, fleeing, and reckless driving. In a court hearing, the deputy claimed, "I stopped. He took his vehicle and he ran his vehicle straight into my driver's side door, pinned me in the vehicle." The indictment claims the guy did knowingly make an assault by driving his Chevrolet Colorado directly into the patrol vehicle, using his truck as a deadly weapon. But evidence shows otherwise. Seconds before the crash, an officer radioed,
I'm right here, I'm gonna box him in.
and then video shows a patrol vehicle intentionally pulling across a row of parking spaces and directly in front of the guy's truck, causing the crash, which was really more of a fender bender. Video also shows the cop, completely unharmed, immediately jumped out of the driver's side door and pointed a gun at the guy's innocent, unarmed 11-year-old son. So there you have it. Police caused the crash, and now they're trying to send an innocent man to prison to cover it up. And here's the response from Austin Greer, Georgia State Patrol. Greer responded from the south side of neighboring Habersham County. He traveled approximately 19.5 miles in 11 minutes and 37 seconds, meaning that his average rate of speed was over 100 miles per hour! Greer sustained speeds of over 130 miles per hour for 30 seconds straight. Here's Greer running a red light. And Greer's actions were completely unnecessary. By the time Greer arrived, Nelson had long since crashed the truck, and 6 other officers had Freeman at gunpoint. Here's Jake the Punisher Palmer, Toccoa PD, weaving lanes on his way to box the guy in, which ultimately caused the crash. Here's Angel Dixon, hitting 100 miles per hour on Big A Road.
Sir, we're on the phone with GSP.
Yet again, police lied about what happened, pretending they had to use tasers because they were attacked. Police claimed in the newspaper that immediately upon breaching the driver's side glass window, the male subject began punching and kicking officers, as well as throwing glass at law enforcement. In court, Deputy Nelson said Randy Shirley put his hands through the window, and then Freeman started taking glass and throwing it at Trooper Greer and started punching Trooper Greer in the face. Freeman was fighting, so Trooper Greer tased him. Greer agreed, saying, "Once he began punching and hitting us, I did deploy my taser." For this, the guy was charged with 4 counts of obstructing law enforcement officers by doing violence. But the video shows that the police story is untrue and that the officers shot first. It's legal in Georgia to resist an unlawful arrest and also to act in self-defense. So clearly Freeman did not immediately begin attacking officers. In reality, they smashed glass in his face and immediately began shooting him with tasers and electrocuting him while he sent a text message and tried to block them with his foot. Is anything that the police said about this case true? No one wants to, but we've got to watch video of police beating up an 11-year-old kid in the Home Depot parking lot of Toccoa, Georgia. Police were trying to arrest the kid's dad for reasons that are weak at best. But whenever you think the dad, it's clear the kid didn't break the law. Regardless, video shows police holding him at gunpoint before smashing glass in his face, ripping him out of the truck, wrestling him to the ground, and putting him in a chokehold! In court, Austin Greer claimed they had to do this because he was still fighting us, kicking and spitting and trying to bite us. No, Greer, he wasn't. Cops just snatched him out and took him straight to the ground. After this, video shows him calmly standing with officers while they dragged his dad away. Here's Jake Palmer, Toccoa PD, savagely beating and tasing this guy for making a political comment.
You gotta play it, wait.
Patrol Trooper Matthew Vandiver in blue on the left, just raining blows on this guy who didn't commit any crime. Here's Brandy Robinson, laughing while Freeman was beaten and tased. After this, the trooper puts the guy in a punishing chokehold for 49 seconds. That's more than half the length of this entire video. Then, once the guy's restrained, we've got video of the sheriff in his boots, literally jumping up and down on this guy's leg! And look at the injuries! He's got blood all over his face and the worst bruise on his back I've ever seen! He had a broken rib and doctors had to surgically remove a chunk of glass from his elbow! testimony, when Deputy Nelson was asked if the guy had suffered any injuries, he said the guy was injured from the airbag. Yeah, right!
This is just disgusting what these police officers did just because one deputy didn't like being called a name. Well, Deputy Dondi Nelson, you are a scumbag and a worthless piece of trash. You should not be wearing that badge. You are horrible and should be terminated from employment and not be allowed to work in law enforcement again. I would be expecting you to take charges out on me now, you piece of trash, on GT News Now for voicing my freedom of speech about what I think of you. To check out the full story, head over to Mr. Pipsqueak to see more of the terrifying police in Toccoa, Georgia. Let them know GT sent you.